mood, baby.
We in here, yeah, we in here. 'Cause we been
Y'all better get comfortable with saying black.
We in here, yeah, we in here.
Black versus the Board of Education.
'Cause we came here, rid of us now. We in here, yeah, we in here. 'Cause we came here, rid of us now. And you know,
That's why we are indeed a whole mood.
That's it.
Happy Monday, and welcome back to Black versus the Board of Education. My name is Miss Laureen, and as of course, I am the captain of this ship. With me, I have my co-hosts, and they are going to introduce themselves momentarily. But we are going to be talking about folks are bugging.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much going on around us, and there's so many different things that are happening, and I'm just trying to figure out what the hell is wrong with everybody.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So let's go ahead and get some. Let's get some introductions. I hear an echo, so go ahead and turn that down, please, because that's gonna drive me nuts. I'm gonna start right here. Hey, Jalen.
Hello. My name is Jalen. You know, I'm just doing very, very well today. You know.
Ooh, I love it. You doing well?
I'm just doing. I just feel so good right now. You know, the Niners lost, so you know, it's just,
don't do that.
It's just a great Niners lost and the Lions win. Oh, I'm on. You know, what will make it the best is if the Cowboys lose tonight. Oh my, we're in cloud nine.
What?
We're on cloud nine. But
I detected a little bit of shadiness, but I'm let that slide. Hey, Keela.
Hey, it's your girl Keela. I'm doing good. I'm very sad because I came back from vacation, but I feel very refreshed. So
vacation. Now remind us where you went.
Porta Vallarta.
Who?
Ooh, she did
Vallarta. Porta.
You know, at this point, I don't know. I was confident. Yeah, that.
Oh.
She giving us a.
It spelt like that.
She was there for a week and she don't even know I say it.
Listen. Anyways, there was a hurricane. I almost got left.
You almost got.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a hurricane on Tuesday, and it was like super bad. Like the trees fell.
Oh my.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Dang.
But I'm glad that you made it back in one piece. I didn't know how that was.
And
happening.
I'm not Kella anymore. Let me not say that.
You're not who?
Nothing.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I don't know. I don't. Me and Adrian are confused.
Yeah, to be continued.
Off screen.
Okay.
Okay.
I know.
Hey, Miss Maureen, how you doing? Adrian, what's up?
It was Adrian.
You just came all the way down. Did they deflate? Something is happening.
Adrian.
Oh man.
Started thinking about the Niners and
Sucks.
Well, you know, you can't win them all.
Yeah, but
Y'all still 5-1 though.
Yeah, but y'all don't lose to a backup quarterback that was in the XFL.
you know, I'm glad Jalen's talking so you guys realize he's a full-time hater.
Certified had that. Certified.
Certified.
I've been
Certified.
dealing with this all my life. I'm used to it.
A certified hater.
Man.
But other than that, how are you doing? How's it going?
It's a good day.
That's so confident.
She said you was doing good until you wished ill will on her Cowboys.
I apologize. To nobody. Let's go. Cowboys lose.
Oh Lord.
Sorry.
So did you tell me how you were doing?
Yeah.
I'm okay.
You're okay. All right.
Fired.
Well, I got off the plane last night about 10:30. I can't even remember what time. So I'm just like here. We came from North Carolina. We had a great time with at the NBCDI, which is the National Black Child Development Institute conference. Learned a lot, met a lot of people. And I'm looking forward to us continuing the work. There's so much to be done on behalf of Black families and our children. But the problem is everybody doesn't want to be specific. And y'all know I can't stand no non-specific people. I don't like going into rooms where we start talking about Black people and then it devolves into people of color, then it devolves into everybody else. And that's why our issues aren't being mitigated because nobody wants to be specific. And I'm thinking about one particular part of the conference. They started off talking about Black maternal health, right? And I'm like, okay, let's see. So in this particular program in North Carolina, they have a permanent grant. To funnel money into the Smart Start program. And in this Smart Start program, they take the monies they delve it out and then they decide where to spend the money, right? Mm-hmm. And my comment to them was, okay, you're telling me you're collecting all this data about Black folks, but what are you doing with the money? Because we know money is dictated by priorities, right? And it went from, oh, well, we're getting the data. Well, data is not a problem because everybody has data. What are you doing with the data that you're getting, right? And so then it devolved into the only Black male facilitator in the room telling us that, well, Black teachers treat Black children worse than the white teachers. And I'm just like, whoa, wait, huh? And it's like, wait, are we here? In the topic was how to protect the innocence of Black children in the school system. And while I understand what he was trying to do, it fell on deaf ears, and he met the wrath of the Cali team because we did not let up and we challenged him on the things that he was saying. But if he's part of the system, and this is a system in which we're sending our children into, I can understand why we're having problems. So while I was at the conference, it was brought to my attention there was a case that came out of Arizona. A 10-year-old was grabbed by an adult who was reportedly a school administrator. The mother says her son was choked and kneed on August 17th as she voiced her concerns to the superintendent. The incident happened on April 25th, right? So this mother has been trying to go in front of all these folks to talk about how her child has been mishandled on a school campus. And she says after he left the classroom, her son was scared. He rushed to the bathroom and she went in with him, talking about the assistant superintendent. They were in the bathroom for roughly 5 minutes. So my question then becomes, what the hell were y'all doing in the bathroom for 5 minutes?
Weird.
Okay. And her son reports she watched him urinate. So let me stop there.
Very weird.
What?
When we hear that, first of all, I have a problem with a woman following a boy into a bathroom and watching him urinate.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
Not a little.
So let me put you
Mhm.
into the mind of a 10-year-old boy.
Mhm.
You're followed into the bathroom by an adult, and she proceeds to watch you urinate. What are you thinking?
I'm like, why are you following me? That's what I'm going to like. Why are you following me? And then like, I'm like, as a 10-year-old, I'm like, I'm going to position myself where I'm going to be away from you. I'm like, if you don't, I don't, and then you don't watch people pee. It's
What
nasty.
was the point of that? What do you think, Keela? What's the point of you, a woman following a little boy into a bathroom and watching him urinate?
I don't know. Like, what you about to do?
That's a little, that's weird.
What are you trying to do?
Yeah.
Was it a power play? Was it for her to exert her authority over him? What do you think, Adrian?
It has to be, unless she's into the like little boys or something. But
That's
yeah.
I'm like, what are you trying to do
Yeah.
right now?
I mean, and I have a problem with that. There's so many things that come to my mind. Most of it is really about her trying to exert her authority over this little boy. Another part of me is she's trying to show him that he's under her control,
Yeah, I can see.
right?
Yeah.
In terms of how they emasculate boys at a very young age, and they do it to our men too as they continue to progress through life. And so I would have a problem. She better be glad that's not my baby. He says then she verbally and physically assaulted him. Another video shows them walk into the main office. When he entered into that office, he got pulled by his clothes. Mind you, we're talking about a 10-year-old, choked with his shirt. Then she slammed him up against the wall and tried to put a 5'3" boy into a headlock. At that point, my son did not fight back. He didn't even try to push or shove her or anything. She then proceeded to attack him, choking him by the back of his neck, pushing him on the ground, elbowing and kneeing him in his ribs.
Dang.
This person is still employed.
And I just finally caught. She was in the bathroom with him for 5 minutes.
Why? You know what I mean? Like,
That's
what was she, if she did all that in the main office, what did she do in the bathroom?
Yeah. Because if she don't care to see if anybody walk past and she just feel comfortable to do that, in the office where other people will be around, like in the bathroom, you was probably, I ain't gonna go there.
No, I need y'all to talk about it because, again, this happened in April. It's still going right now because the family is still looking for justice. And I'm going to use air quotes lightly because I know Black folks who've been fired for less.
Yeah,
Um,
they're trying to fire dude for cussing.
and then the issue that these facilitators brought up was that it is now gone away. You know, the news cycle is 24 hours. This situation has gone away, and this baby is still traumatized. So, what responsibility do we have to make sure his voice in this issue continues to be pushed to the forefront? And it's not a trick question. Adrian, what do you think? What is our responsibility in this?
I think we keep talking about it. We don't let people forget. You know, because I wouldn't have known about this had you not send it over and we looked into it. So I think just creating awareness, maybe going out to the school. I don't know if it's out here. I don't know.
No, it's in Arizona. It's in Levine.
Mm.
And I believe the person's name is Kathy Davis.
Catherine.
Yeah, Kathy. Sounds a little bit like Karen. A little bit.
Catherine.
And you know, I hate school districts who have these canned responses, but I'm gonna read you the full statement from the Levine School District. It says, the Levine School District is aware of the discussion and speculation around an incident involving a Vista del Sur accelerated academy student being improperly restrained by a former district level administrator. They say former. I'm hearing she still has her job. Prior to the start of this school year and up until yesterday, the district has tried repeatedly to meet with the parent through their attorney and community advocate to seek resolution and pursue what is in the best interest of the student. The best interest of the student is that you fire that person immediately, and she has no actual responsibility over any child ever. She actually needs to be banned from being in community with children, but I'll keep going. Meanwhile, here are the facts surrounding the situation. In late April, a district level administrator was asked to come to Vista del Sur. Oh, so she wasn't even assigned to the school.
Oh.
Was asked to come to help with the student. While the student was being escorted to the in-school detention room, the administrator perceived the student was trying to exit the campus. He was trying to get away from y'all crazy tales. Yes, absolutely. While trying to stop the student from leaving the campus, the administrator applied an improper restraint technique by grabbing hold of the student's arm and shoulder to prevent the student from doing so. The student struggled to pull away from the administrator, and the two fell down. While on the ground, the administrator leaned over the student for approximately 40 seconds in an effort to calm the student. Let me stop there. Does people being on top of you for 40 seconds calm you down?
No.
What does it do?
Fight or flight. Because you don't know what this person's trying to do. You getting attacked, all you know, and you like, what is going on? Why am I being attacked? It's like you go in a fight or flight for real.
And I watched the video. When she's grabbing him, he didn't pull back. He didn't raise his hands. He was just trying to get away. And then when they fell, he just laid there.
So he was calm?
He was calm. When she got up off him, he just laid there, got up calmly. I'm confused.
When the student stood up, the student asked and was permitted to call the student's mother. Phoenix police were immediately called and met with the administrator, student, and parent. Police examined the student for injuries and no physical injuries were found. Video of the incident was captured by security cameras and turned over to the police and the parent. The district has fully cooperated with the police throughout the months-long investigation, which continues. Soon after the incident, the district retained an outside attorney, as they should, who conducted an independent review of the situation. It was determined that the actions of restraining the student did not follow district policies. Corrective action was taken with the former administrator. Our desire is to help the best path forward for the student, and this matter continues to be a priority for the district, and I call cap. And let me tell you why. So you have this adult person who was asked to come to the school, allegedly. What was wrong with the staff at the school? Did they not have anybody who was trained that the student actually knew that he would probably respond to better? And then you had this person. First of all, I didn't hear anything about her going into the bathroom. They left that fact out. I didn't hear about the 5-minute gap. And then they keep saying former administrator, but I'm told that she still, has her job to this day. So this district has an obligation to cover their tracks, right? However, they're saying the student was examined and no physical injuries were present. So I'm going to ask you guys this. What other injuries could there be?
Mental.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mental injuries. How do you assess for mental injuries?
By asking questions and actually asking them, how does that make you feel? How did that altercation, like, how are you feeling about the altercation right now? Instead of just being like, oh, he don't got no physical injuries, so he's okay. Because physical injuries,
They heal.
yeah, they heal. Mental, it's harder to heal a mental injury than a
What is another word for a mental injury?
trauma.
Trauma. I didn't hear anybody mention that they responded with a culturally appropriate counselor for this baby. I didn't hear anybody. First of all, I don't even know what the issue was that would have had them call somebody from a different place to come and assist. So who precipitated this event? I have so many questions. Somebody would have been crying, and it wouldn't have been me. Because we continue to see this intentional mishandling of our babies, and they're just supposed to, oh, it's over now, let me go and get back to normal. There is no normal after a child experiences trauma. And how do we as adults start to show up to make sure that they have access to people who give a damn? That's my problem. And I'm pissed off for him. I'm pissed off for his mother. And I hope I find her on social media and she comes to talk to me, because there's a disconnect somewhere where, and I'm going to say it again, and people might be mad, and that's their problem. People who did not raise their own children during slavery cannot then come into a system and be the authority over mine. It can't happen. So, what responsibility do we as parents, as advocates, have to make sure people know there's a consequence to responding to our children this way? There's no consequences. And so they keep doing it because there's no consequences. They don't think, they know that Black parents will show up and we'll cuss them out and we'll go on about our business, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there has to be a consequence that they experience. And I'm not talking about just filing a complaint with the Civil Rights Department or the California Department of Education or whatever entity they have in the state of Arizona. Beyond that, what other things can we do to make sure there is a consequence for the intentional infliction of emotional distress on our babies? This baby is 10. He will never see school the same way. And I doubt he liked it before this. I doubt it. Because research shows us that Black boys are more hyper focused on, that they are not believed, that people don't think they experience pain. And that's Black children all, across the board. They don't experience pain. There was even a thing where they said they don't learn at the same rates, and our babies are brilliant. So what are we doing? And I'm not going to keep talking to myself. Y'all going to have to chime in because I can keep going. But that's not my job to continue. My job is to make sure y'all get into the discussion. Right?
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to think, because it's like, what can, like, for us to see something happen in this situation, like, what can we do? That's what I'm trying to think of.
What you doing right now?
We're talking about it. But
Yeah.
But
there's a bunch of things though. I mean, like, yeah, you could talk about it, but you can, like, obviously social media is super big. So you could post it, repost it, tag people, tag them, do all that stuff, send it to people.
Yeah.
Like, use your social media platform for a reason. Don't just use it to have fun.
Yeah. What do you think, Adrian?
I agree with Keela because it's basically putting pressure on them. And one thing with schools is they don't like bad press.
Facts.
And they don't like to look bad. So.
And they look horrible. But go ahead.
Yeah. So the more people know about it, the more bad they look, and the more pressure they'll feel. They'll feel more compelled to enact some sort of justice.
Yeah. And I'm looking at the question in the chat. It says, "We are losing our young males. What black doctor said there are no injuries?" I didn't hear them say anything about a black doctor. I heard them say the police came and they said there were no injuries. I don't even know if he went to the doctor because that's not covered in this article. But what I would say is that we have an obligation when we hear about things that are not right. We have an obligation to speak on it consistently, show up constantly, make people uncomfortable because our babies are uncomfortable. Should nobody be sleeping well?
Yeah.
You should fear, like, oh snap. Like, I hope when districts in this area step out of line, I hope they know that I'm coming. And I hope that makes them anxious. Right? I hope so. Because when you stand on the right side of this stuff and you really invest time into learning everything that's going on around you, we can do some stuff. But if we are knowing about it and then it's in the news cycle for 24 hours and the news cycle goes away and nobody brings it up anymore, it's like it's forgotten. Mm-hmm. And we cannot afford that. Our babies can afford for us to do that. So, yeah, Arizona has a whole problem. And this has been going on since April. The baby is 10.
That stuff is just so, like, 5 minutes.
Did the parents say she's going to take him out to school, or?
I would hope that the baby is out of the school. That would have been the first thing I did. And matter of fact, in my conversation with the ladies who facilitated the group, he was removed from the school. And I believe one of the comments was, but why did the child have to move? First of all, our children's safety is our number one priority. I would not keep my kid in an environment where he was mishandled, period. I wouldn't do it. That'd have been the first thing I did before I turned over some desks.
That's a weird question.
What's that?
Why does the child have to move?
Well, because everybody thinks that the adults should move, right? Because they're the ones that perpetrated the harm. However, she was from the district level. She wasn't even assigned to the school.
And it's not even like, because, okay, you can move that person, but you're not going to remove the environment because that environment is the trauma now. So I agree. Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me personally. Like, I don't like that question.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that folks, the excuses that I've heard or the justification for that particular question that I've heard is they said, well, our children are resilient. They should just adapt. And it's like, the hell they should. They're children. Let's allow them to be children.
Everybody thinks that though. And this is, I don't like that sense of children have to be resilient, because if you put somebody in a bad environment, of course they're going to become resilient, but down the line is going to hurt them more than it's going to harm them, because they're going to think about all the stuff, and they're going to associate different things with that trauma. Yeah. So it's like you're putting a Band-Aid on a problem, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Do you guys think that if there wasn't a video, it would have been as popular?
No.
Like, you think it would have just been forgotten?
It would have been swept under the rug. It didn't happen like that.
Yeah.
The child is over exaggerating because Black children are not believed when they say that something was hurtful or harmful to them.
Or they would say that the child swung on the teacher,
right?
And all that type of stuff. And they would have been like, oh, we checked the teacher for injuries instead of we checked the kid for injuries.
And we're going to get to that because we have a couple of people behaving badly locally, and they're more recent than April. As a matter of fact, last month, let's transition. Because last month we heard about a 5-year-old autistic boy, nonverbal, who was hit in the face by his teacher and illegally restrained, right? And so as we're looking at all these things that are happening around us and our Black boys, our babies being mishandled, and then you come in and the issue that came out of Folsom Cordova was it was the teacher's aide that reported the conduct. The baby can't talk.
Right. Nonverbal.
He would have never said anything. That's why his mother sent him back to that classroom for the next 2 days until she found out what actually happened. There was nobody talking about it. The aide didn't feel comfortable reporting it right away. She waited 3 days.
That's disgusting.
3
That's
whole days.
crazy.
And this baby was back in the classroom with that particular teacher for 2 additional days after she mishandled him.
That is crazy. The nonverbal. So he was like, "You ain't gonna say nothing about it." That's crazy.
Can you imagine what's going through his mind?
Wow.
What do you think he may be thinking? And of course, we're going to speculate because we can't call to the operation of a child's mind.
Yeah.
But I'm in class, right? I am doing something that I normally do, which he was, my understanding, watching, or there's some sort of TV screen that you can touch or whatever. And he was interacting with this screen, but it apparently, allegedly, it was time to go. And so they were trying to redirect him. And so in redirecting him and getting him out of the classroom, she engages this child to restrain him. And my first question is why?
Yeah.
Is there not another way this could have been handled, right? She engages him to restrain him. They fall to the floor. She hits him in his face, according to somebody who was in the classroom. And she was placed on administrative leave. What say you?
Why is she not fired? First of all, it's my first thing. It's why is she not fired? Why should she have the administrative leave while we investigate what actually happened? Like, there should be no reason why. Because I feel like truly, them like people like that, it's like, did you even like do the training? Because you're not supposed to restrain. That's like, you're not. First of all, you're not supposed to train any kid. But then even when
well, you are supposed to some, but never a baby.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, because then you like, why is this person on me? And then of course you're gonna have that flail, like, get off of me, because nobody want nobody on them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, Chris, like, every time it seems like we look into these cases, it's always the teacher needs training, or it's like, for me, it goes beyond training. Like, this is,
come on, talk to him.
This is past training. You're assaulting somebody. Like, this is how you treat people. So
yeah,
I don't know.
it's a criminal act.
Yeah.
I want the same energy they would have if they found out a parent did that and hit the child in the face and restrained them illegally. I want that same energy, because my understanding is professionals are supposed to know better.
They don't.
And if they don't know better, why the hell are they still employed? I mean, like, we can't have it both ways. Either we're going to take we're going to take the safety of our children serious, or we're not. Yeah. And if we're not, we're in the wrong profession, period. But it gets deeper, though, because this article came out over the weekend. And like I was saying, we were talking about Folsom Cordova Unified School District. It says a federal watchdog's review of the Folsom Cordova Unified School District's restraint and seclusion policies found that the district was inconsistent in its record keeping and slow to respond in some instances where children with disabilities were subjected to dozens of restraints or hours of isolation. The conclusions reached by the the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights came to 2 weeks after Rancho Cordova kindergartner was allegedly placed in an illegal restraint and struck across the face on campus. Federal education officials launched a review of 20 school districts after the death of a 13-year-old who was held in a prone restraint for more than an hour at the now closed Guiding Hand School. Folsom Cordova was one of a handful of schools in the capital region that regularly sent special needs children to the El Dorado Hills facility.
Crazy.
This is a whole pattern. That 5-year-old was just the latest in a whole pattern of children who have been subjected to this treatment by the hands of professionals. It's egregious.
Yes.
And it said the review said Folsom Cordova in its schools infrequently held meetings for individualized education programs known as IEPs, which are federal documents that are mandated to be put into place. But we're not okay. After a student was subjected to restraints, even in extreme situations, such as for a student who experienced 22 restraints at a district school in 1 year.
22 is crazy.
22 restraints in 1
That's
year.
crazy.
But, nothing to see here. Business as usual.
Like, how do people feel good about themselves doing that?
I
How?
don't.
Like, how do you? They do, because if they
Like,
don't, if
I
they
just-
They
don't,
wouldn't do it,
Yeah,
right?
they don't.
Not like they don't, but like I just feel like not even like they're taking out like whatever they got going on onto kids, but it's just like think about like what's not reported.
yeah,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you feel good about
Yeah.
that?
But why would I report if this is the
But that's what I'm saying. Like it's not even gonna matter at that point. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Like
It's easy for them to justify it in their head if they know there's no consequences for it.
Absolutely, and it's like
But listen, but it gets worse, you guys. It just gets worse. It says in another case, a separate Folsom Cordova Unified School District student at a non-public school was subjected to 38 hours isolated in the refocus room and was put in a prone restraint. The review said the district did not call a meeting for the student until the end of the school year. Investigators visited district schools and interviewed 18 employees, according to a letter to the district.
That's disgusting. That's disgusting.
38 hours of isolation. What is that akin to?
Jail.
What is it called specifically in jail or prison?
Oh, that's the 23-1
What is that called?
lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, 23-1.
So we're putting babies in isolation for 38 hours. 38 hours of isolation.
That's nasty.
Have you guys ever seen any reports on what isolation does to the human?
Yes,
What does it do?
drives you insane.
Uh-huh.
you can literally go crazy.
Yeah,
So if I put a child in isolation for 38 hours
It's a wrap.
and they start to have behavioral problems, and my response is to put them in a restraint.
and then give them more hours. That's what's like like that don't make no sense, man.
Why are these people employed?
I just understand why homeschool is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Because
like,
I'm scared to have kids. I'm scared for my nieces and nephews to go to school. Like,
But why?
stuff like this. Stuff people, like, it's just, it's.
because people get into
Solitary
teaching
confinement. That's what I was looking for.
Oh,
Solitary
okay.
confinement.
Okay.
Thank you. Hot water cornbread.
because my thing is this. It's like people teach because they want to feel power.
Allegedly.
Some people teach because they want to feel power over somebody.
Some people used to teach because they cared about kids.
Yeah,
That's
some
what I'm
people do.
Hmm.
And then you have people now that they're like, oh, everybody needs teachers, so it's easy to become a teacher. So let me just get some quick money. And they don't give a darn.
You can
about
say
no-
a damn. They don't give a damn.
They don't give a darn about no kids. Yeah,
I just,
it's nasty.
I absolutely understand why more Black families are choosing to
That's what
homeschool.
I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
my aunt
I was one
literally-
of them.
Yeah, but like my aunt literally is homeschooling her 2 children right now because she's like, absolutely not.
Yeah, it's nasty
She's
work.
not. No.
Don't
Yeah.
even get me started. And so it also brings me to Adrian. We got a new complaint.
Yeah.
8. How old is he? He's a kindergartner too. Yes.
Yes.
Dang, 5
Okay.
or 6.
Yes.
About that age. He's been suspended repeatedly. And I'm no, it's funny, but it's not.
Yeah.
He's been suspended repeatedly. And I was reading the synopsis of like the problem, right? And so they said that this baby was playing with a crayon, and then he started to have some sort of reaction. He started to argue with another student. And I'm thinking in my mind, okay, now why would I be arguing with somebody if I had the crayon? Sounds like somebody took something from him.
Right.
Mhm.
Right? That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I haven't talked to the parent yet. And he has this thing. And so they start trying to redirect him. Then somebody started trying to take him to another room. Mind you, he had whatever he had first. And then they said as they were walking, he then hits this teacher in the back of her head or on her shoulder or something. And then I'm like, my thoughts go to, well, how tall is the teacher if he's able to do all this? Then apparently he grabbed her lanyard and choked her. And I'm like, he's a baby. So what are we doing? And why is it sounding like? And I want to say they use suspect or what did they say? What was the language they used on that? But he's a kindergartner. And I'm trying to figure out what type of adults we're employing that cannot manage a situation between young kids who are having a disagreement over a crayon to the point where I'm dragging a child out of the classroom, where then he turns around into the aggressor towards me because he's a big old black young child and he's so scary. And I'm going to create this narrative so I can justify my ill preparedness and my incompetence in dealing with a kindergartner.
Yeah.
So I'll be visiting the Thomas soon, because I'm not understanding what we're doing in the terminologies that we are using to describe what is happening with children that we are supposed to have care, compassion, and concern for. I don't understand.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a lot for them to convince me that this little baby is a brute and he's brutal in the way that he interacts with adults. It's going to take a lot.
That's like, oh man, just
what are we doing?
People.
Why are we doing it this way? Those are the things that I have to think about as an advocate and as you all being peer advocates, right? Those are the things that we have to start thinking about. Like, why is it being described in this fashion? And I'm gonna pull it up because I want y'all to hear the description of what we get when we get these complaints. But it's so important and it's so vital for our parents to understand that we have to protect our children if we're going to send them into these hostile educational environments. We're going to have to do some legwork to make sure that they are being treated as human beings with care, compassion, and concern. I'm a little ticked off. I mean, and it don't take much, let me tell you, because I think we've been doing this enough to really understand why things are happening the way that they're happening.
Yeah.
And this comment says, hey, Byron, have to understand that this child is not their child. And no matter what, it gives nobody the right to treat anybody's child that way. And the key word is parent. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Because people are habitual line steppers and they don't understand. They have more compassion for their children or children that look like them. And I'm going to go out on a limb. And if I can remember, I don't believe this child's teachers are black. And despite what that idiot said over in North Carolina, I don't believe all the time that our children are being treated worse by people who look like them because they don't have access to people who look like them. Let's keep it a buck.
All my black teachers was cold.
And then we also have to understand the systems in which we're living in and the things that are put into place to help us kind of address certain things that they're bringing to the forefront. IEPs are a great tool to be able to do that because it's a federal document and you have to treat my child this way. If there's a behavior concern, and 504s can address it too. If there's a behavioral concern, maybe you need to put a behavioral plan in place. Behavioral intervention plan. Maybe we need to sit at the table and talk. I mean, I'm gonna make myself available to do that for these parents, but I'm just concerned. So if you've never seen our complaint form, and I'm not going to show you everything on this one, I'm not going to share my screen, but it always asks the type of incident they're complaining about. In this case, is suspension and expulsion. Why are we suspending babies? Pull up that discipline report that the parent sent over and let's read that synopsis, please. Because I think that's what I'm alluding to because I'm not seeing. And, normally a lot of times parents will ask parents, how do you want us to help deal with this situation? And so what they said was,
It'd be crazy though. Like how do you?
They would like us. Hold on, real quick, baby. They would like us to help with behavior support, modification, and intervention. And then we asked them, how has the incident affected you? And they said, our family is in great distress, living in fear of expulsion and learning loss. If kids are being suspended repeatedly, they are not getting the lesson that was set out for them to have that day. And so I just want to read y'all this. And I will leave out the student's name. I'm going to identify the adult because they're an adult. It says the context of this description, behaviors displayed are disruptive to the student learning and create an unsafe learning environment. He's 5 or 6. I'm gonna need them to pull something together. It says student was arguing with another student over a crayon. And I'll leave the teacher's name out because I ain't met her yet, but she gonna meet me and she's not gonna like it. The teacher separated the boys during the workshop to give space between the two, but our student kept going back and forth back to this student. After many attempts to redirect the student, he got frustrated and began throwing plastic cups towards other students, ripping anchor charts and dumping learning buckets. Why would a child respond in that way?
Because they upset about getting their stuff took.
Why would he be frustrated? Give us some ideas. Why would a student be frustrated?
They getting picked on?
They lost something.
They're not being listened to?
Yeah.
Nobody's believing them?
Right. So I'm gonna be irritated.
Okay. It says he was taken out of the classroom to calm down. On his way over, he hit another teacher on the head and chest with a closed fist.
What?
How tall is she?
Like what?
You
go on a chair?
He also pulled on the teacher's lanyards that were around her neck. His teacher had to assist, which he also hit in the leg and back. The principal then stayed with the student for him to calm down, in which the student began to hit the wall with a closed fist multiple times. He then got upset and punched the faceplate of the light switch, causing it to break. Mom was notified via text message about the behavior and the suspension. Mom sent dad to pick the student up from school.
Text message?
And the description is the ed code they cited was 48900A2, used force or violence. This is a baby. Used force or violence, and he's listed the role he played. He's the offender. He's a baby.
He can't even add yet.
He's a baby. And these narratives, and I believe this is one of many suspensions from what I understand from the parent. This is one of many. And this is the narrative that they are creating about this baby. He's a baby. And when I look at it and I hear that a student is hitting the wall or hitting a light switch, I'm hearing anger, frustration, embarrassment, because he was the one pulled out from the class. What I don't see on the discipline form was the type of services or interventions they are offering this baby. He has no 504, no IEP. And yet, he's now an offender. An offender. And it's not funny. It's actually ridiculous. He's listed as the offender. If it doesn't make sense, it's not true. Those people are straight up lying. Holes everywhere. Absolutely. Absolutely. Somebody, it ain't making sense. And Judge Judy said, if it don't make sense, it ain't true. And that's my girl. I like Judge Judy. Me and Judge Judy go way back. And I'm just trying to understand if we're labeling him in this way right now. In kindergarten, this stuff stays in his cum file. and it travels through his educational career with
Right.
him.
Right.
And as a kindergartner, we're describing him as an offender,
Yes.
Already setting them up. for failure.
violent, a threat to his environment and others. What?
They're starting up school to prison pipeline right there.
Mhm.
Or continuing the school to prison pipeline. It's freaking ridiculous. He's a kindergartner. I can't stress that enough. He's a kindergartner.
Yeah, that's what it's normal kindergarten stuff. Kids get mad. They throw
Literally.
things.
Literally.
That's it.
What I want to know is why wasn't the other student who was arguing with him taken out?
Yeah.
Or was he?
Yeah.
Was he marched down the hallway embarrassed? Did he do the perp walk? You know, because offenders do perp walks. We have to fix our language.
Yeah. Especially a 5-year-old. 6-year-old.
Why didn't anybody bring more crayons? Like, come on. Like, really? This is what we're doing?
Yeah, why don't you tell him, give him back his crayon if he took it? If somebody stole your crayon, tell him give him back crayon.
What are we doing? And I think, why would the parents be concerned about the learning loss? Because when you're not in class, you lose learning, I guess.
Well,
Especially
But it
you're
didn't sound like
5.
any type of lesson was going on. It sounded like maybe there was a coloring lesson.
Either way, you're 5 years old. You're doing sensory play. Like you're adjusting to an environment of kids to be around other children so you can move up.
Right.
The fact that you're getting suspended.
And then that's basically isolation right there because you have to go back home.
And then, like, who watches that kid at home? Does mom? Like, we don't know. And then
or
they're not
does that
around
affect? Do
kids.
they have to stay home from
Yeah.
work to?
And that's what I'm saying. And like, you're already missing kid interactions that you're supposed to be going through, and you're
like,
not getting that.
You're not teaching the kid, hey, this is not. You're teaching the kid that, okay, if you don't act the way we want you to act, you'll go home. So now, if he wants to get out of being at school, he gonna just do the same thing. Be like, okay,
Right.
well, I know they're gonna send me home.
Already setting them up for failure.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm.
I think as we all go into schools and as we see online with these kids teaching these teachers teaching younger kids, these babies, is they aren't realizing that they're shaping their life basically.
Yeah.
Like it's just not getting out a lesson.
Oh,
These
yeah,
are
100%.
these are life lessons.
Right.
Yeah, and skills.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it starts here, right? It starts with your interactions with your peers. It starts with your interactions with teachers, and then it progresses. So there was another story that came out of Texas, the great state of Texas. Y'all know I always say Charlamagne said the craziest people are in Florida and Texas.
Florida for sure.
But there's a black student who was suspended for his hairstyle.
Be for real.
He had them barrel twins. He had the clean ones too.
And how long did they say he's been serving?
August 31st.
He's been in on-campus suspension, since August 31st. And now I believe they're expelling him to
on the way.
Like
his barrel twist was clean too.
I like him.
That
I
was
do.
nice.
I think his hair looks great.
wasn't his
I
hair
think he's
wasn't
beautiful.
above the eyebrow.
Yeah, he wanted to have a bob.
Not even a bob. You want to. There's no length in that.
And they said his hair was too long, and that's why he's been he had gotten suspended because it goes against their policy for shoulder length hair or something crazy.
For boys?
I don't know.
It's
but his mom was saying that, he always has his hair up. So how would they know how long his hair was?
And even in the picture, it's braided back. It's not in his face. It's not anything. And even if it was in his face, okay?
I don't know. I don't know. So it says
they passed a federal law about that.
It's the Crown Act, but don't even get me started. It says Daryl George, 17-year-old junior at Barbers Hill High School in Mount Bellevue. I hope that's how you say that, has been serving an in-school suspension since August 31st. Officials with the Houston area school say his dreadlocks fall below his eyebrows and earlobes and violate the school district's dress code.
And he from Houston? Oh, yeah. They said, bro, failure.
George's mother, Dorisha George, and the family attorney deny the teenager's hairstyle violates the dress code, saying his hair is neatly tied in twisted dreadlocks on the top of his head. Daryl George supporters allege that ongoing suspension by the Barbers Hill Independent School District violates the state's Crown Act, which took effect September 1st.
I remember that.
What's wrong with these people? Why they got a problem with our hair?
Cause man, they can't get it.
They can't get it?
No.
That's how you feel?
Yes. Everybody want our hair.
They want your hair?
Hair.
Hair.
Yeah.
Everybody
Oh.
want a BS, but don't want the package that comes with it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Cause that's ridiculous. Cause
now when you talking about learning loss, he ain't been in class since August 31st, and it is
that's-
what, October?
He's 17.
And so that means he's a senior.
Like, he's about to graduate.
or
That's what you're
junior
worried
or
about?
senior. Yeah, junior, senior. That's wild.
You worried about his hair, for real?
And I believe this is the same school district that had another lawsuit brought against them because they wouldn't let somebody graduate because of his locks.
I
What?
remember that.
Same school district.
I remember that. Yeah.
So they passed this Crown Act, which is federal legislation. It's been enacted in multiple states that's supposed to protect you with from hair discrimination. I think a lot of this is performative. Like they put certain things and let people, put certain laws on the books so that they can be quiet because they're not enforcing it, because we know laws are subjective. Yes.
Yes.
And it depends on your argument. In a lawsuit, you can win or lose based on your argument. So when we're looking at hair discrimination, is it discriminatory for them to keep him in on-campus suspension because he will not cut his hair?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because you're trying to single somebody out or a group of people out and be like, oh, so you don't want to do that? Okay, so you're not going to play. And it reminds me of that clip of the that football player. You know what clip I'm talking about? Where the coach was talking to a football player and he was like, yeah, oh, it's a baseball player. He was like, oh yeah, so you won't cut your dreads, so you're not going to play on the team.
I didn't see that one. I did see the one at the wrestling mat where they cut his locks off on the mat.
Yeah.
I seen that one too. Yeah.
Didn't they blame it on his weight or something?
I don't know what they blamed it on, but I'm so sick of these damn people. I don't know what to do with myself.
I know, and the dude, and the crazy part was that baseball player ended up cutting his hair too. He was like, I cut it to the length that you said. He was like, nah, I need it shorter. It was crazy.
So what I'm thinking about, right? Is this just for black folks? Because I be seeing all these other kids with their hair longer.
Yeah. I be seeing
Is it just for black people?
Yes.
Are they going around making sure that all the girls have their hair a certain length? Or is this just for males? Is it a sexist thing?
Even if it's just for males.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird.
Like,
what
you'd be
does this have to
suspended
do
right
with
now.
education? What does this have to do with education or your ability to learn?
Or hinder.
You in trouble. I'm about to suspend you from the podcast because you got locks in your head too.
That's what I just told myself. You'd be suspended right now.
Shake your dreads.
And I got somebody else's hair on my head. Like, what? Let's keep it a buck. Like, look, I change my hair every 2 weeks, every month. I don't know.
Every
It
month.
depends on what the hell I'm feeling like.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Or what event you got going on.
Right?
Yeah, that's wild.
So what does that have to do with my ability to do my job or do my work or show up and create space or stay in my space and just be? Can I just be?
No.
Why can't I just be?
Because I don't want you to just be.
Who is they?
How would that be?
They better get used to it.
Well, they try not to.
Because it's like
It ain't up to them. Go
they
ahead.
want you to learn what they want to teach you, but they
They
don't
can't
want you-
teach me nothing.
But they don't want you to
Doggone
express
it.
yourself. Like they don't want you to express yourself and be the
They
person
want you to
that
be authentic.
Yeah, they don't want you to be authentic.
And
They
the
don't.
Superintendent said it. He said,
Yeah, you getting fired too, Byron, by the way.
Uh-oh.
You getting fired too.
Oh yeah, you definitely gone.
You see
Oh,
how
he's
long his
definitely gone.
Yeah, his
It's
is
grits.
longer than. Let me not. Yeah.
Nah,
You knew what I was going to say.
Oh,
Yeah, you next, doggone it.
What were you going to say?
Who was
Adrian?
that, Adrian? Go ahead.
Oh, my fault. Superintendent said he basically wants the students to conform. So he wants everyone to be what they consider neat and tidy. And
But that's objective.
But
Correct.
they don't consider black
know.
people's hair neat and tidy. That's
I
the
know.
thing.
Right.
His hair is beautiful.
Them barrel twists was cold.
Ooh.
What about the turbans? They ridiculed the head wrap and allowed others. Well, speak on it, Mama Margie.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, it's subjective. It depends on who you are,
yes.
right? It just really depends on that.
Because literally, you got to be like, okay, well, for them, they'll be like, okay, well, you
Ain't
got
nobody
dreads.
gonna cut your hair. It's okay.
They'll be like, okay, you got dreads, but the other dude got the little shag,
Yeah, the mullets.
the mullet.
Yeah,
You got the shag.
No, they
of
be
the
having
mullet.
the rat tails,
The rat tails.
and they be like, it be hecka long, braided down.
Yep.
But you're not gonna tell him to cut it off though,
or the,
right?
or the Padawan braid. You know,
Ugh, yeah.
you know
I
what
don't
I'm
know
saying?
what
That's
the Padawan.
it's-
braid
You
is.
watch Star Wars? Okay. Then.
Okay.
It's
No.
just it's literally just one braid, like this long. It's just, and the rest of their head be shaved. It's just one braid.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's,
All right.
it's a little odd because they be like, because this is their thinking behind it. They be like, okay, well, once I reach my Jedi status, I'll cut it. Until then, I'm
Was that the braid that wait, have y'all seen Coming to America?
Yes.
Yeah.
You remember he went into the barbershop and got a haircut and they did one snip and they said that'd be $20 or $30.
goodness.
Was it that type of braid or is that more like a rat tail?
That's more like a rat tail.
Okay. Well, listen though, because I'm still trying to figure out why folks is bugging,
Me
right?
too.
Because you said something. You said that the superintendent said he wanted them to conform, neat and tidy, or whatever. But how do we empower students to be individuals and empower individualism without them having the ability to choose how they want to wear their freaking hair?
It's a bunch of I forgot the word.
You forgot the word?
I did. Come back.
Okay.
What?
Because I'm just trying to figure out. They always say, we want our students to be the best that they can be until they step outside of this box that we've created for them. And how do students explore their creativity if they're kind of confined to specific parameters? It's impossible. It's impossible.
Contradictions.
Contradictions. What?
That's the word. That's the word I was looking for.
Contradictions.
No
What?
That's right. This dude is.
That was-
Now he's
Contradiction.
bugging.
That
Now he's
was-
bugging.
That was the word that I was looking
You
for.
said
It's a bunch of contradictions. 'Cause
Okay.
They want you to be. They say they
Allegedly.
want you to. They
Mhm.
say they want you to be yourself, but then they'll be like, I want you to conform to what I think is
Appropriate
nice
for you?
nice for my school. They will say was nice for my school.
Man, his
Well,
hair was neat, bro.
It was.
It was very nice. I
I was
love.
like, ooh, those
I'm
look
like,
good.
Yeah,
okay,
they
that
did.
was fresh.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that we spend too much time on things that shouldn't even matter.
Yes.
Because if he was a standout football player, I'm gonna say it, and they were able to capitalize off his talent or his
Oh,
100%.
100%.
personhood,
100%.
it wouldn't bother him.
At all.
what? Of course.
But they see him as someone they can make an example of, and they've chosen him. And they may have chosen the right one on the wrong day or the wrong one on the right day. I don't know.
Yes.
But I think that we're spending too much time on things that shouldn't matter, especially when your statistics show that you're underserving Black students. And I would think that people would find something else to do other than worrying about a kid's hair, which is a major distraction. And if they're distracting you with that, what is really happening with the money behind the scenes?
Mm.
Yeah.
That's what we have to keep an eye out for. Most of this stuff is distractions. They're distracting us from something, and we have to learn how to dial in and keep our eyes forward. Our children have to contend with so much nonsense, racism, foolishness. I'm sick of hearing about crap like this, and I'm sick of saying it. But until they stop it, we gonna be here addressing it because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and adults are ridiculous. And I am a huge proponent of homeschooling. I'm a huge proponent of setting up what is it called? Learning pods. And we're going to be doing that in the coming months for the community, for children to be able to just come and just be, whether it's reading pods, whether it's sing and play pods, whether it's we just need big brother, big sister pods or granny pods, whatever, so that our children feel the love, concern, and support from us, there's certain things that we have to put into place. And so I'm hopeful for that, because folks be bugging. They do. People really be out here thinking because they have PhDs or M.Eds, Masters of Education, and they've been doing this for 20, 30 years, that they are somehow the experts. And that just means that nobody has found out their foolishness. Some of them need to go. Some of them are like old computers that need their hardware updated. And if they can't get their damn hardware updated, what happens? You get thrown out. And I think that we're at that point. I don't negotiate with terrorists, especially if they have purview over Black children and they don't know how to serve them. We're not doing that anymore. And so as we are going through this year, this school year, and we're mitigating issues for our families, just know we here, we stand ready to serve you, and we will do our best to make sure your babies feel valued and accepted in a place where they are valued and accepted. And I'll leave it there. So look, we have run out of time for today. We want you to join us next week. I think, Jalen, we was talking about what is love, yes?
What is love?
What is love? How do we define it? How do we define it?
Okay.
And so we may be talking about that. I might change my mind and put a different title on it, just so that we can start to look at our relationships with people, what our expectations are of them and of ourselves as we start to talk to people about what's going on. And I hope it's going to be a great conversation.
Like LL Cool J said, I need love.
That's my jam, though. Don't play.
Come on now.
Don't play. When I'm alone in my room, sometimes I stare at the wall. That's my jam. What? What?
All right, y'all.
Keela's like, what happened? Anyway.
All right. Them ad-libs was great.
So listen, hit us with the wave. We'll see y'all next week right here, 4:30 PST. We are Black versus the Board of Education. Peace.
Deuces. That's it.